Hi guys, Becky Chernick here with Chernick Consulting. Now, I got to tell you, I started Chernick Consulting back in 2001, and I provide what I think is the very best in finance and insurance training for automotive, RV, recreational, and allied industry professionals. And I guess you could say I'm pretty unique in that I offer, my training for the entire team. I provide a very holistic approach to what I do. So really from the time that customer touches down on that dealership website, to working with the salesperson, from sales to, oh gosh, even the BDC department, if you will, and just making sure that, we actually have a finance and insurance manager that can address and answer any questions that the customer may have as it pertains to their financing, as well as working with the desk manager and how they actually communicate with their staff and leadership and responsibilities and duties and that sort of stuff. And definitely, again, their desking capability and streamlining that process until that customer gets into the finance office, working with the F&I manager as well as that single point sales associate. So here we are, and I'm actually making a very special announcement first. But before I do that, I do want to say to my friends, associates, people that I've worked with, you got to be safe. There's shelter-in-place orders going all over the country, and we've got to do our due diligence and really make it a point that we support this. We want this. I mean, I want it gone. I know that we all want it gone in the car business. I mean, we want to knock this out in 30 days. So let's do what we're supposed to do and shelter in place and just take care of yourself and your families, right? And this is such an important time for all of us. And with that being said, we have to think outside the box, guys. Things are going to be different. I was part of the 24-hour global summit, and it was so awesome. And I really, again, want to thank Anthony Santangelo and Lisa Copeland. Thank you again for that terrific invite. But, we talk about really getting outside the box, and this is the time for it. This is, some of the things that we might have heard in the past that maybe we didn't pay special attention to, that today, now we will have to, because we're not going to go backwards, and things aren't going to change that too soon. So with that said, I told you I have a special announcement. Mr. Joe St. John, who is the head of digital retailing for AutoFi. This guy's amazing. And I tell you, he has an extensive automotive retail background, plus he really knows his tech side. And he's merged the two together, and it gets quite dangerous. And he talks about why car dealers, why we have to figure out better ways to communicate with that customer online. And I also mentioned there's no more walls. So wherever that customer wants to engage, and if that's online, so be it. We need to, as a dealer, have options that are available. And we have to be competitive. We have to stay competitive in the marketplace. So we're going to talk about the benefit of, or the advantage, if you will, of putting your financing online, giving customers the ability to do some of the self-desking, if you will. Give the customer the ability to do some of this soft pull analysis so that they can have a better understanding of what they likely budget for. And especially for some of our dealers that are in a shelter-in-place crisis right now, where they're limited and they have to do everything online or remotely. So this is so important to be able to provide that customer with the ability to do this self-desking. For F&I to take the opportunity now to light up those cameras, if you will, and provide customers with more additional information via Skype, via a Zoom webinar. FaceTime is cool too. But this is going to, get us outside our comfort zone, if you will. So I think definitely tomorrow, with Mr. Joe St. John, head of digital retailing, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys, listen to me, vendors, everyone, get that dealer on the call, because they're going to want to listen up. They're going to want to make sure they have their eyes and their ears open. Do we go ahead and put digital retailing? Do we embrace it now? Every platform is different in what they offer. AutoFi offers one way of doing business, and then of course Roadster offers another, as well as DealerTrack offers another. So it really is dependent as to what your mindset is. And also here again too, I want to mention that when you're thinking through this digital retailing, understand that whatever you put online, whatever that is, it has to align with what's going on in the dealership. You have to work in unison to make and be successful with this. I think I might have a few comments here, so I wanted to kind of show that out. Hey, Laura, I'm so glad you're able to stop by this afternoon, and hopefully tomorrow you'll be able to be here with us. And it was awesome. So I definitely, that 24-hour global summit was definitely terrific. And I hope tomorrow you'll be here at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with me. I'm going to be hosting, of course. And then Mr. Joe St. John, he is going to be here, head of digital retailing for AutoFi, answering all your questions as to should you be putting your F&I online and what to expect. He has several, well, I can't say hundreds, but he has a lot of dealers that are utilizing AutoFi and are very successful putting their F&I online. Hey, Scott, good to see you. Hopefully you can make it tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Mr. Joe St. John, head of digital retailing with AutoFi. Hopefully you can make it. And Mr. Anthony Santangelo, the video you did for the Business Summit was terrific, Becky. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Anthony Santangelo. Make it a point, Anthony, to come in tomorrow, if you will. Again, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Mr. Joe St. John is going to be here with AutoFi. And Kevin Calabucci, hey, how you doing there, Kevin? Long time no see. I sure do miss you. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. And I'm assuming, are you still in Maryland? So for those guys that don't know, I grew up in Maryland. Oh, okay, so you are. So that's kind of cool. I grew up in Maryland. I started my car career business in Baltimore, Maryland. So so talk about the tracks. Those were the good old days. Let me tell you, I kind of miss it. I live in Atlanta, Georgia these days, but Baltimore, I'll tell you that's my home. I love it. And so, hey, Desmond, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And yeah, those are my tracks. So Kevin Calabucci, I believe he was the GM at Fox, and we had, right, let's see, Anthony says, what does Anthony say? Baltimore Becky, that's right. So Baltimore Becky. Boy, did we have some good moments in Maryland, D.C. area. We sure do know how to go ahead and put a deal or two together, that's for sure. Some good times, definitely some good times, good people. And all, I don't know who this Facebook user is. I don't know your name. So how cool. But yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. That's where my automotive retail experience is. And I've worked with some of the best, really the best in the industry. I'm very fortunate in that. And now we're taking some of everything that we've ever learned in the industry, right, Kevin? And we're thinking maybe some of everything that we've ever been taught to do. Maybe now we're talking about doing the opposite. I don't know. Is it smart to put your F&I online, right? Is it smart to have give customers the information to be able to determine some of this information earlier on in the process before they ever make their way into a dealership? You know, how much information is too much information? Are we willing to be upfront with our customers? Are we willing to be more transparent, right, with that customer well before they ever make their way into that dealership? And now we're talking about curbside deliveries. So does that mean that you're actually doing a curbside delivery, or are you still making appointments and then bringing customers in to have an F&I person still presenting these products at time of delivery and then wrapping up the deal? Or is it possible to go ahead and complete as much of that and even presenting the products online? So that's the conversation we're going to have with Joe St. John, because we're talking about not only, you know, trying to get that customer on the right car from the very beginning, but also to be able to present options, product offerings up front before the customer ever gets into the dealership, and what that whole process kind of looks like. So when the customer comes in for that curbside delivery, how much of that transaction have we completed? So yeah. Oh, Mr. Kevin yeah, Kevin, you're right. Mr. Duff Calabucci, crab cakes, my favorite. Steamed crabs and beer is my favorite. That is me. I miss those days. I miss the steamers. I miss the shrimp. Although I do get some good shrimp here, but I got to tell you, the steamed crabs are to die for. I love them. So, love you, Baxter. Well, somebody said it's Baxter. They really know me when they say Baxter. So a couple of my good friends, they know me as Baxter. So Joe Kirschner, I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Write it down in your books, okay? Or put it down in your phone, right? And schedule to be here 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I bring Mr. Joe St. John, head of digital retailing for AutoFi, and we're going to talk this through. Should car dealers be putting their F&I online? What does that whole thing look like? Should you be doing it? Frederick, can't wait. So I'd love to hear what Frederick has to say, especially, you know, he deals with a lot of subprime customers. And does it make sense to go ahead and put that, find out first if that customer actually qualifies for the vehicle before they come into the dealership? Does it make sense that the customer have more information about a vehicle and how they might qualify before you get the customer into the dealership and then find out that you have to go ahead and switch cars and all the other stuff? And of course, who has time for that today? And obviously, there are dealerships who can't really do that today, right? So it just makes more sense to give the customer the ability to do some of this and to self-test to determine some of this stuff before they ever make their way into a dealership. Kevin Calabucci, let's see what he has to say. Great job, Becky. Got to be transparent, as customers have so much information today. People are always looking for ease of business as much as price. See you tomorrow, Kevin. Thank you so much again. And Frederick, I do, especially now, make it more clear, make it more transparent. And when we do, we actually sell more vehicles and maximize our profits, right? And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. So I will see you here tomorrow. I keep saying that. Oh, let's see. Wait a minute. Oops. Kevin is right. Kevin, you love that, right? Kevin is right. Kevin, I'm telling you right. If you don't know who Kevin Calabucci is, he is one great general manager. He knows his stuff. Let me tell you something. This man taught me a lot. He gets it. And I got to tell you, I work with some most talented folks in the Baltimore, D.C. area. I'm really very grateful that my retail roots, if you will, in Baltimore, from the time that, I started selling cars for Al Packard, Lincoln and Mercury in Baltimore, Maryland. Did you know that, Kevin? And also from there to working with Ron Bortnick in Ron Bortnick Ford. He promoted me into F&I, go figure. That's where I got that. And I've worked, like I said, I have worked with some of the best in the industry, and I'm very, very thankful. And things are changing, and they're changing for the best. And I will say this, guys, I remember back in the day when we first started working with Menu, and everybody and their mother thought I was nuts and said, "Hey, Dad, just get back into the box." There's no way you can be profitable and still be upfront. That customers knowing their base payment and the terms, there's no way you can sell more products that way. But we certainly proved that you could be absolutely profitable and still be upfront. And my motto has always been, you don't have to break laws to break records. And I truly believe that. I think the more consistent that you are, the more that you have your skill set and your practice, drill, rehearse, it's going to matter. It takes you from someone who's doing a PVR less than $1,000 to $1,500 per car, like that. It's just a matter. You got to study, drill, rehearse. And Frederick says, gain a customer for a lifetime. And true that. Okay, well, I promise you this time, you are going to get some really good stuff tomorrow with Joe St. John. I'm going to host the event, Facebook Live, and we're going to be covering digital retailing. Should dealers be putting their F&I online? And then we'll address any additional questions that you may have. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thanks. Got it.